Stirling in particular, what are the key milestones that we should be expecting to monitor in terms of Stirling being ready to receive the Submarine Rotational Force in 2027? And I'm happy for you to take that on notice, but it would be good just to have that mapped out so at subsequent estimates we can come back and actually track that progress against those milestones.
So we have a key milestone later this year, and I indicated that in the opening statement, with a submarine tender maintenance period, which will be conducted at Stirling around about the August period, the US Virginia. That's never been conducted before outside of US home territory, and I can get Admiral Buckley to talk in further detail. Then there's obviously the 2027 milestone, but
Senator Admiral Buckley, Head of Nuclear Submarine Capability. So specifically in regards to Stirling and Submarine Rotational Forces West, as Admiral Mead alluded to, the tender maintenance period is the first major milestone. It's about a 3-week activity where a submarine tender ship that will be based out of Guam will sail down to Stirling, supporting a Virginia-class submarine. We're working very closely with the US in particular now on exactly how our sailors who are in Guam and around 20 industry personnel in Pearl Harbor will contribute directly to that activity. And there's a number of other activities, as you'd expect, building towards that capability. One of the main purposes of that is establishing some strong baselines on maintenance and sustainment activities, testing our supply chain links with the US, with organisations such as NAVSUP and so on. So it's a very significant opportunity for us to start to do some maintenance, both in terms of on the submarine itself, but also shop-to-ship kind of maintenance with our fleet support unit and workstations ashore. At the same time, as well as that's happening at HMAS Stirling, we've commenced the first stages of works there. You alluded to SEG before, so we've commenced the remediation site works now underway for the first phase of priority works, and we're also now well into the design for what we need to achieve in 2027, with a plan to start that next stage of work in Q1 2025, Senator.
Okay, and still on track for that start in Q1?
Yes, Senator, that work is on track in accordance with the SEG delivery plan.
Sure. Things that are beyond the Commonwealth's control, such as local government approvals, state approvals for whatever aspect of road infrastructure considerations around nuclear submarine, whatever the consideration is, what's the state of engagement with those levels of government, and are you confident that they are on board and on track?
Yes, Senator, I might have alluded to this at the last estimates, but we established a steering group with the West Australian Government. I co-chair that with an official from Minister Papalia's department. He's amongst many of his roles, his portfolio includes defence engagement and industry. That steering group has representation from the ASA and other parts of defence, but also across WA government. It also has a representation from the South, they call it the South East Council's group of local governments. So in terms of Western Australia, we meet about every other month. I'm over there every month. So we've got very strong connective fibre with WA government and also down with the 3 or 4 main councils, Rockingham in particular, to ensure that. So at this particular point in time, Senator, I'm confident we've got very strong links with WA. We've had excellent working relationships with the WA government and the local councils. Notwithstanding, we've got a very steep hill to climb, but those connective tissues are well in place.
Sure. Are there any...
Senator, in addition, we've been working very closely over the past 18 months to 2 years with the Department of Environment for environmental approvals and also with the civilian regulator, ARPANSA, in order to achieve a nuclear licence.
Are there any issues within the federal government's purview where you're awaiting a decision at this stage, or where you see there may be potential delays?
Senator, just in terms of Stirling, you mentioned the Parliamentary Works Committee before. I would just note that the first thing we needed to do was to get Parliamentary Works Committee approval. SEG took that forward for the remediation site works. That approval was granted by the committee. So our initial engagement achieve the outcome that we required in that particular case.
So when do you next have to come before the PwC?
We've got a bit of work in hand with SEG now on precisely how the next approach is required. I'll just have to take that on notice, Senator, so I can get you the specific details from the delivery manager.
Sure.